Hi and welcome to my PlayHouse. And today I am preparing 3 servers here on the table behind me. You can see those there. And that's for an upcoming test that I'm gonna be doing with someone who is visiting. I'm not sure when this will be aired, but we're gonna be testing on 3 different servers, and I wanna show you what's going on in this video and a little bit of how we're gonna prepare this. First, I have a Dell. This is a, what is it? A PowerEdge 2950. It's the Model 3 of that series, and it has its own screen. Then we have an HP server, and this is the DL380, and it's a generation 4. It says it down here. I don't know if you can see that, but well, it says it. And then we have an IBM x3650 Model 1, the Model 7979, my favorite server. The plan is to install Windows Server 2008 R2 on all of these. I'm most worried about this old HP because it's the oldest one, and that's from back when everything was 2003. But I'm gonna see if I can do this. Right now I have made a bootable CD, actually. It's in the CD drive, and I was just gonna try and install it raw. I'm not sure if this is gonna work. Very often you need to have the IBM, HP and Dell, they each make a CD that you're supposed to boot up first, and that will supply you with all the Dell drivers, the HP drivers and the IBM drivers. For the HP it's called Smart Start, for the IBM it's called Server Guide, for the Dells I'm not sure yet, haven't looked that up, but I'll get around to that. But right now I'm just gonna see if it will install this raw. So we're just gonna install language English. I'm just gonna change the time zone. I don't know if this helped me anything, but well, it just might, you know. So next, and we'll try and install now. I have been in configuring the drives on this, but if this doesn't work, it will actually come and say that it's not able to see any of the hard drives, and that would be because the 2000 and oh, I get a lot of options here. This installation can install all kind of versions of 2008. We want an R2. We just want a standard full installation. That will be fine. We'll pick that one. See if we will agree with this license thing. And yes. Oh, it finds a drive. Maybe I won't have as much trouble as I thought. So next. Okay, that is installing. So we will move on to the HP and see how far we get with that one. Well, this is gonna be hard because this is very noisy, especially the HP DL380 generation 4. Well, it's noisy as hell. Over here, the IBM is finally done with the first part of the installation. It took forever, which is a clear sign that it's not. It doesn't have all the drivers for the CD-ROM drive and for the RAID controller, so it might still come out and complain. But well, right now I have downloaded from HP's homepage. I've downloaded the Smart Start, and this is an oldie. It's an 8.5 version of Smart Start. It's from back in 2010. But I went to HP's homepage and found this model of server, and that was the version that they had to the server. So hopefully that will be good. And 2010, it should still have the right drivers for a 2008 server edition, I'm hoping. So I have no idea what it's doing right now, but it's lighting up on the CD-ROM drive down here, so that's probably okay. So let's see where this ends. The IBM is installing, completing installation, and this one is booting. Wonder why it's doing that. 3%. Oh, it's booting now probably. Okay, after a little bit, the IBM server down here is ready. The HP server, it didn't want to boot on that piece of CD thing. I'll just try and take that out. I don't know how far it got because it was very slow, so I had better things to do than waiting for it, but I'm gonna give it one more chance to see if it will do it. Right now the HP server is trying to see if that can boot Windows. I tried to put the Smart Start out on a USB stick. I've tried it from a DVD. You saw that didn't work. The IBM is done. That's far enough so that it can wait until we get a little further. And I'm gonna start and see if I can get this Dell one to boot on a CD and install 2008. Okay, it's gonna enter the boot menu, I'm hoping. I put in a Windows 2008 CD R2, so it's complaining about the battery from the RAID controller filling. That's probably okay. Well, it's not actually okay, but... Okay, we entered the boot menu, and I would guess that it's the CD-ROM here that we have to hit. Let's see if we're good on that one. It's not. This one comes with 2003 and that's not the one we want. So now I'm gonna be going into the setup and see if it's maybe set up to not even boot from CD. So, well, yeah, I'll check that out. Okay, I'm in the BIOS of it, or the settings. It knows the time and the date. Memory, CPU, not important. Boot sequence. I've set the CD-ROM drive as the primary one, and I disabled the A drive and the network card. I don't want those, so... And let's see what else we got integrated. Nothing here that should prevent me from doing this. I've been into security to see if the CD-ROM drive has been disabled. It doesn't look like it. Really weird. Let's exit, save and exit, and try again. The HP server has gotten so far to not have a mouse or keyboard because I'm using that on the Dell. I will have to change that over. Okay, there we are. And we will change the... next. Install now, and let's see if it finds any drives to install this on, which is crucial. And we are installing the same version, and we can agree to this. Install. Ooh, it finds a lot of drives. Let's see if we can delete the other ones. It seems there is 2 drives in this server. We're just gonna use the one, so we're gonna use that one. Okay, next. And it was unable to... I'll try and format the drive. That's gonna take a while. Let's see what happens. This didn't help any. I have 2 partitions. I have 4 hard drives in this server, so 2 of them is in a mirror and gives this drive, and 2 of them is in a mirror and gives this drive. And even though this is partition, this is disk 0, partition 1, well, we are not able to go any further because the setup is not able to create a system partition or blah 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 blah. So can't really get anywhere with this. In the meantime, I have burned out a CD that should be able to help me with the firmware. I'm gonna see if that will help me, but I will shut this down and try that one. Okay, and now it actually got the USB stick that it wants to boot from. We might as well just try that one. See if it will boot on that one. Oh, that's gonna take a while. Still booting. Okay, this is some kind of Linux underneath here. Hope it will continue soon. Okay, this smart start is not really working out for me. It keeps dying under the boot. So I want to try and upgrade the firmware. And what I found on the web page here is that you can download this firmware maintenance CD. Yeah, that is what it's called. And that's an ISO file. And you're supposed to boot from that. And further down here, HP has a tool, piece of software, that will create a bootable USB stick for you. I tried this and ran into some funny issues. I'm just gonna show you what I did. I downloaded the ISO to the computer here, and I plugged in a USB stick and said that it should take the ISO file and put it on the USB stick. So it said that it was not able to do so. It could only do so from a media, like the CD-ROM. Okay, so I burned out a CD-ROM with the firmware, and then it could actually move it from the CD-ROM and down to the USB stick. And that I'm testing out right now. I have booted from this CD-ROM drive and into the smart, where are we? Smart Update Manager, which also takes care of the firmware. And it has found new firmware. So we're gonna try that and see if it will install that for me. Installing, that would actually be awesome. This server hasn't been updated since 2006, so it's about time to get some new firmware on this oldie. Okay, it did that and it wants to reboot, so we're gonna do that. See, success, reboot needed. Awesome. And the updated firmware for the ILO adapter, or the ILO ROM, and the HP, the firmware for the server itself, also for the RAID controller reboot. I'm putting the firmware manager once again, just to make sure that it doesn't come up with new firmware. Sometimes you have to put on one version of firmware, and then you can put on the next version of firmware. So let's see what it comes up with. Free firmware update, install firmware, and it starts the HP Smart Update, and it's gonna check the system. And it came up and it did not find anything new, which is a little bit surprising to me because the firmware on this machine is now from 2007. That's really old, but well, it says that it's the newest stuff, so probably okay then. I'm here at HP's homepage and I am looking at the HP PolyAnt DL380 model or generation 4, and here we have the firmware maintenance thing that I just ran, and that's from the 18th of November 2008, so it's rather old. So we can shut that down. Maybe see the BIOS here. Seems like that's from January 2008. No, that's from 2007. So it's probably the latest firmware that I have on it now, which is really old. So let's go down and see software, CD-ROM. This is the smart CD that I'm trying to install. I have downloaded this, already have downloaded it, so let's try and make a USB key. I have the USB key that we just used for the firmware. That's not going to be needed anymore, so I'm going to plug that in. And it pops up. Oh, you can't see that. It's just outside of view. It was up here. Here is the HP Smart Start that I downloaded. It's version 8.5. So that's all good. So down here I'm gonna find the little HP program, HP USB key, utility, next, agree, next, and here you have the option of creating a bootable USB from a CD-ROM/DVD, or you can add a bootable image to a USB key, so you can kind of have two. That didn't work out for me. So we're just gonna create one up here. It's gonna warn me that everything is gonna be deleted. I know. And we're gonna find our ISO file here, and it's right there. Open, and it has found the USB stick down here. So we're gonna press next. It's gonna warn me again that I'm about to delete my USB stick, and we're gonna do that. and it's gonna format the USB stick, and it's gonna copy data in just a second there. And that takes just a couple of minutes. It has completed. I'm gonna skip the readme file and press finish. And the program just shuts down or closes, and I can take my USB stick and we can go see if the server will boot on this now. That was very efficient. And this is where you could have added more than one, I'm sure. So let's see how far we get this time. Well, it failed miserably on the smart drive, so I'm gonna try and start Windows again and see if it's any better this time. This is ridiculous. This server is so out of date.
Well, it was booting, and then I removed the USB stick because I wanted to put something on the USB stick for the Dell over here, and then it failed to boot. And now it won't boot from the CD again, or DVD. So, whoa, happy times.
So I put Windows 2008 on this USB stick, and I got this far right now. I'm gonna try and press next, and it's actually doing something. So let's see if this is good. This is gonna take a while. Okay, it actually booted, so now I took out the USB stick here, and when it actually opens up in Windows 2008, it will not have all the Windows drivers and special HP thing. And that was what it would have gotten if it had been able to run this Smart Start thingy instead of just dying each time. But let's see what happens if it ever gets this. And in the meanwhile, I can see if I can start up Windows on this one over here. Should be able to use the same USB stick. Did I mention these are quite noisy in the living room? I might have forgotten to say that. I have pressed F11 to go into the boot menu. So, still booting down here. And this firmware is really old too. Here's the boot menu. Let's see if there we have a USB stick right there. Gonna boot from that. Press any key. Yes. And we're gonna be installing Server 2008 on this one as well. Well, this was going great. The machine started up, ran the installation, and then it booted, and then there was some kind of a disk error. It started to run a lot of files and changing some security ID on them, and it did that forever and ever, so I turned it off, and now it won't start. So I am gonna do this again. I'm gonna delete all the partitions on that drive and start over. Now the Dell server is up and running. It helped to go in and delete all the drives on it and just install it again. That made all the difference. And this is the fastest of these three machines, but I was planning on having a look at that, so I'm gonna turn on the two other ones. And I have installed the benchmarking software that I'm going to be using to test this. It's not a comparison of how fast they are, I was just curious. These two will be booting as well. So now I have all three servers doing benchmarking tests here. This one I have to start. That's gathering information now. This one is done. The system overall performance is 1624. A server like this, the graphics really draws it down into the dirt. The processor is a lot faster than that, but well, this 2D graphics and 3D graphics really doesn't add up. Well, we can see what happens. This one I can start as well. All tests, and yes, and that will be running. And it's a big problem with the mouse because I didn't want to bring 3 mouse and 3 keyboards, so I'm moving it all the time. They don't have any 3D graphics, and the program is complaining about that. So
moving the mouse and keyboard forth and back. Okay, the results are in. The HP machine here, which is also the oldest with the oldest CPUs and stuff, comes in and scores 837.9. Next is the IBM x3650 Model 1, and that's 1053.9. And the winner is the Dell, which is probably also the newest of the three servers. The Dell and the IBM is around the same age, I guess. But this Dell has a couple of very good CPUs. They have the x3650s, two of those. So it scores 8,197 on the CPUs, where the HP scores just over 1,000, and the IBM, which only has one processor, and that's an Xeon 5130, 2 GHz, scores 1,559. So this is not a speed test, but I'm not gonna reveal what this is yet. This was a hassle to get this up and running, and I thought I was gonna be using the, here it would be called server guide, and that would be smart start, and I didn't really find out what it's called for the Dell. I never used it for Dell, but yeah, this is really why you want to run VMware, so you don't have to hassle with that crap of installing your Windows servers directly on the hardware. It's such a drag, and I haven't even installed the right drivers on the different systems yet, so if I wanted to do that, that would probably take me a couple of hours on each server as well, finding the good network drivers and so on and so forth. Much of the drivers that it has installed is just the general drivers, so there would be a lot of tweaking and improving on that. Well, this video has mostly been me preparing for a video that I'm going to be doing next weekend, so I'm not sure if you got anything out of this. Right now in my head this is a total mess, because I tried so many things, especially to get this HP server up and running, and I do really think that the optical drive is not very good. Sometimes if I power down the server and power it up again, it will ask me if I want to use the optical drive, but if I just reboot it, it doesn't always do that. The IBM was not a lot of problems, that kind of worked right away. That was kind of a coincidence. It is my favorite server. I wouldn't have had as much problem getting this up and running, but it just ran. Might be why I kind of like IBM and Lenovo servers. It just works. No hassle, and that's not true, because I've used many hours on playing with old IBM, Lenovo, mostly IBM equipment, because it does weird stuff. The other two was a lot more difficult, because I'm not really used to working with those as much. So, well, I have no idea if you got something out of this, but thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again. Join me over at Google+, where I did just post a picture of this. I need to go in and edit it, because I didn't write any text to it, so there's just two weird pictures. And have a really nice day. Bye bye.